Hi everyone, welcome back to another For Those Who Code video. This channel is where we learn and share skills about design and development. If you want to grow your skills and learn new things that's coming up, please like, share, and subscribe for more. In this video, we'll be deploying a personal website building right from scratch using Eleventy with Netlify forms. If you guys don't know what is Eleventy, Eleventy is a reliable static site generator which helps us to generate static sites with its build command. Under the hood, Eleventy uses Node.js to generate static builds. The competitors of Eleventy are Hugo, Gatsby, Nuxt, and other static site generators. Let's first quickly take a look at the website that we are building in this video. And by the way, guys, I came across this particular website which really helps in our development process of Eleventy, which is Eleventy Rocks. And this is created and maintained by Stephanie. So a great thanks to Stephanie, and these resources helps a lot. And we'll be definitely getting a reference to some of the blog posts that we have in building our simple website with Eleventy. Let's bring on our terminal here, and inside of our terminal I want to navigate to our desktop and create a directory and call it mkdir. After our Eleventy blog theme has been created, we want to navigate to Eleventy blog theme itself, and inside here I want to first open it with Visual Studio Code and expand a bit, and I want to close our terminal from here and switch to here. And first of all, let's start with installing packages first. To install our package, we need package.json file, which we haven't created before. So to initialize our package.json file, we can write npm init-y, enter all the questions that's needed, and also we need to install Eleventy itself, right? Which is inside of our package.json file. And after the Eleventy has been installed, we want to tweak a bit inside of our scripts, and we want to add our start command as well as our build command. Inside of our start command right here, we can write Eleventy -s serve with the serve flag, and then here we can have just Eleventy. So I think I have missed something here. I missed a colon and then a comma. All right. So after we have added some changes to our start and build command added inside of our scripts, we can just add further packages or further files here. So to start with it, we can just add a new file and call it eleventy.js file, which is the config file that Eleventy would process itself. So inside of our eleventy.js config file, we want to add module.export with Eleventy config passed in, and we want to return a directory here, a directory object which contains of our input directory as well as our output directory like this. And then we can specify the input directory which is default, which is expected as src, and the output can be a public directory. And let's format it, and further we can add some more configuration inside of our eleventy.js, and I want to bring on some configuration that's needed, which is um, uh, to process the template engine as nunjucks, and template formats that we'll be accepting in the file as HTML, nunjucks, and markdown files. And inside of our directory, we can also specify our include, and we can write our includes right here. So after all of this is done, we can further move on to creating our first folder, which is src. And inside here we can add our index.markdown files, and the markdown files, these three dashes inside our markdown files represents front matter, and we can specify any kind of variables like stuff that we can reuse inside of our nunjucks template right here. So we can write title, homepage, and also we need to specify a layout, and obviously we haven't added any layouts here, we will definitely add a layout there inside of our src, and it would be base.njk, which defines or it's an extension for nunjucks template. And here we can just write this is our markdown here. So let's save it, and inside of our src, let's create another folder which is includes, and inside of our includes we want to create that base.njk file that we added as a layout right here. So inside of our base we can just add in some HTML that's needed. I'll change this to HTML, and I will just add here, and inside of our title here we can just take the title from the font matter that we have inside of our index.markdown, and I'll just want to print out the title. And inside of body we can write content and content save here. I think I missed out a braces right here, so it takes a double braces, so we will just save it. And then inside our markdown we have the base, and inside here we have the base.njk. So we have the start command and the build command, and inside here we have everything pretty much ready. So now let's start with our npm start command. And as you can see here that we have successfully created our public folder which wasn't there before, and it also added some, the live reloading served from browser sync. If we are pretty much familiar with gulp, this uses the same stuff that we have. So let's go to our port edd, and inside here we can see here that this is our markdown here, which is great. And this particular thing is served from our markdown file, which is index.md, which says that we are pretty much good with configuring our base with Eleventy. So we have added something called layout inside of our front matter inside of our markdown, which is inside index.md. So let's understand a bit about layouts. So layouts, which are special templates that can be used to wrap other contents, right? So we are wrapping our content base.njk with this particular index.md. So our base.njk is a wrapper for index.md, as you can see here, and which is shown as we have in the documentation. So and we can further add a tweak to our layouts, and layouts can live in a served directory as well, so which we'll be dealing with. So it can be like layout slash base.njk, which we'll definitely look for underscore includes layout and base.njk, and we will be adding layouts in a subdirectory for now. So for that one, I will create a subdirectory inside of our includes and call it layouts, and inside here I want to create a new file and call it homepage.njk, and I want to grab in some of the stuff that I will need, which will be really handy for us. So yeah, I have added some code inside of our homepage.njk, and inside here I want to extend our base to our homepage. So this is basically literally extending the base, and we want to add our content safe right here with the section class homepage. So as we have added this tweak, we want also add a tweak inside of our index, and we want to call this one a different layout, right? Because we are extending base inside of our home page, and we are adding a layout which is base, which is kind of not making sense. So we will get rid of that one, and we will add our layout, which is homepage.njk, and we will paste breakdown in. And after we save this and take a look at here, I wrote one file in blah 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 seconds. So this is pretty much working, I suppose. And if we see here, and we just have our this is markdown here. And after removing that particular comma, and let's manually refresh it, and we can see here that our section class homepage has been added, which is this one. So we are successfully creating a layout which extends definitely the base, and uh, inside of our index the layout has been replaced with layouts slash homepage.njk. So we are basically creating a nested layout structure which helps us to extend our base.njk and reuse that inside of our all the pages that's necessary. So now guys, let's deal with our assets and compiling our Sass to CSS inside of Eleventy. For that one, I will just create a new folder here, which we will call it assets, and it can go inside of our src, and we will call it assets. And inside of our assets, I want to add all the assets that's necessary for our project. So I will just grab all the assets that are relevant for our project right here. So yeah, I've added some assets, which we will definitely go step by step as we go ahead, and also added some folders that we will be further dealing with. So as we need to, like, these are the blog images, these are the expertise icons, these are my works, so we will be dealing with later on. So after the assets has been added, and we want to go to our eleventy.js file, and inside here we want to make a bit of tweaks and changes because we want to process these assets that we added. So Eleventy config has provided us with some of the configuration that's needed, and we can add a line here which basically tells it to copy our assets folder and later on um, just paste it into our public directory. So we want to also grab another thing right here, which just says pass-through file copy is true. And with all of these, you can see here is copied 11 files, right? So we can go to our public and see the assets, and our assets has been added to our public build directory right there. So which says that our assets are pretty much working fine. So now let's go ahead and add our Sass to our Eleventy project. For adding Sass inside of our Eleventy project, of course, we want to take a reference to our Eleventy rocks. Inside here, as you can see here, we have Eleventy Sass skeleton starter. And if we click on get starter, we'll be redirected to our GitHub page where Stephanie has created a Sass skeleton starter for Eleventy, which is great. So we don't have to fiddle around and invest a lot of time configuring how Sass works inside of Eleventy. So I will just go and see the package.json file, and as you can see here, we need a couple of dependency inside of our project, and I'll just grab it manually from here and paste it inside of our package.json file. So inside of our package.json file, I'll just want to take a reference to this particular starter kit, and I will grab all the things that's necessary one by one. So first of all, let's go to package.json file, and inside here we want to add in few dependencies, and I want to replace our package.json file with this package.json file, which I have pretty much configured before. We will just stop our server as well, and inside of our src we can further on add a folder called sass, and inside here we want to add our styles, which is style.scss, and I want to add a bit of styles here and add this one. So it basically imports bootstrap minify.css, and we have added a variable for now just to start with and added hex code for it, and just save it. And if we go to our package.json file, which is pretty much okay, which is pretty much in reference to this package.json file, and we have added some of the scripts that are necessary for our Sass, and added also a further dependency which is further highlighted here, which has been added right now, which is auto prefixture and CSS nano and all this stuff. So let's save it, and inside of our eleventy.js file we also want to make some changes right here. So let's go ahead and grab some configuration that's needed for us. The first thing is add watch target. So we need to watch our Sass files. That's why we have eleventy config.add watch target here. And also we want to add another thing which basically tells do not use the get-ignore file for now, which is false. I hope we have pretty much completed our Eleventy .js configuration right here. Now let's close it because we are pretty much done with our configuration for now, and let's save our package.json file because we added some packages manually, and we just need to install that package. So we just can add npm install so that it install the package that we manually added inside of our dependencies right here. So after the installation of packages, we can further now import the Sass files in which is inside of our public build. So if we can see our public builds right here, we don't have any compiled Sass, but we can add npm start, and let's see whether we can further compile Sass, which is great. We have our CSS, and inside here we have style.css, which says that our styles has been successfully compiled to public. So now let's import that particular file inside of our base layout here. So the base layout is obviously it's inside of inside of our src, which is inside of include, which is this one, and I want to add a few lines, maybe just one line for now, just to import our styles from our styles, right? So and hit a save, and we are pretty much okay. So now if we go and see at here, and we obviously can see our section class homepage, and let's tweak a bit and see that our styles has been added. Let's save it. But yeah, it looks like our styles has been successfully added, which is great. So let's remove this. So now let's go ahead and add further changes to our homepage. So we want to add further tweak inside of our base. So we have already imported bootstrap.css, so I will just add bootstrap classes to here so that we can deal with the other structures here. So for that one, I'll just grab some of the code that I have already written for adding some bootstrap classes and bring it right here and save it. And as you can see here, we have successfully added our these navbar right here, which is this is my home page, but we are still rendering. This is our markdown here, so we'll just remove that one for now, which is generated from this is our markdown here. And inside of our index.markdown file, I just want to add a few of the things that are needed inside of our homepage, which is just an introduction and just a paragraph and the image we are taking from our assets right here. Let's save it, and we can see the markdown is being rendered, but we don't have any image right here. Let's see why. Oh, I have forgot to add something called banner, because we have added banner here, so we need to add banner up here, which takes from assets, and inside of here we want to go to me.jpg and save it. And as you can see here, our image has been loaded and we are getting, this is my home page from our home page here. Okay, let's change this to welcome to my new blog. Okay, so now everything looks fine, just we need to add a container because we have used bootstrap. Let's add a container. So after adding some bootstrap classes to our homepage.nunjucks file, I've also added some of the styles that's needed for our template. And I have not pretty much gone through all the styles, but roughly I have just added the styles there, and then it looks pretty much decent for now. Now let's move ahead and add some my work section right um, below the image right here, which can be my works, right? So for that one, we can just go to our index.markdown file, and inside of our front matter here, we can add something like works, right? So inside of our works, we can just hit tab and indent a little bit and add heading, and this is first heading. We'll also need is a subheading. By the way, this is pretty much like declaring some kind of variables inside of our front matter so that we can access these variables and loop down inside of our nunjucks template. So this really helps. So I'll just grab in all the necessary things that we need inside of our works here and paste it right here, and let's save it. And we do have our works, and we do have some kind of variables like thing defined for our heading, subheading, image description, and heading, subheading, image description. So great, which is great, so that we can loop down our works inside of our homepage.nunjucks file. So inside of our homepage.nunjucks file, we want to add a loop so that we can loop down all the works inside of our index.markdown file. So just right here, I'll add some snippets. Yeah, so I have just added the snippet which just loops down the work in works. So this work is taken from this index.markdown file, right? Index file and homepage right here. And basically we are just looping and accessing that particular thing, works dot subheading, works dot image, works dot heading, and all the stuff right here. So I think work dot heading and work dot heading is pretty much replicated. So I guess it's work dot description right here. So I'll just add work dot description. Let's save it. And if we take a look at the browser, and we can successfully see our works populated right here, which is really being just taken from the markdown files, which is great. So now let's add a bit of footer right here. So for adding footer, the thing that we need to make and take into consideration is footer is for every pages, right? So we can just add footer inside of our base template, base layout right here, right beneath our beneath our main here. But we want to add some kind of send out data to inside of our footer, in a sense where we want to add global data which can be accessed to all of the pages. So if you don't get what I mean, I will just add a new folder inside here, inside of our src, and call it underscore data. And inside here I will just add site.js, and inside of our site.js I want to grab this and I'll just paste it here. So it's basically just an object with key value pairs, and we want to access this particular thing inside of all of our template, which will be ultimately inside of our footer. So after making this site.js, which is inside of data, so you can add further data here in order to access it globally inside of your application. So inside of our base.njk, I will also add a footer before the body tag right here, and this access the same thing that we just added before, which is site.author and site.copyright year. And you can see here we have the author and we have the copyright year. If I save this one and also save this one, and you must see a footer, which is this one, and which is taking this particular stuff that we defined here, which is great. And we can reuse this particular footer inside of our all application that we have. So now let's move on to our expertise page. Basically, we haven't created expertise page. Let's add our new page right here, which is called expertise. And inside of our expertise, we want to add our front matter, which refers to our layout, expertise page.njk. Inside here, we haven't created our expertise page.njk, and inside here, we want to define our templates. So yeah, I've added some of the uh, things that's necessary, which is just added container. And by the way, NJK templates also are familiar, or also is okay with some HTML in between. So as you may have noticed before, and added some content here. So what we want to do is we want to do the same thing that we created for our homepage.njk. We want to loop down all the expertise that we have inside here. So to loop down all the expertise that we have, we need to create that inside of our expertise.md file, right? So inside of our expertise.md file, we think we won't be adding any expertise there. We'll just leave our expertise as it is, and we will create a brand new folder right here, which can be called expertise. Sorry, exp expertise. And inside here, let's create some of the markdown files. Like inside of our expertise, let's create a file, and we want to name our expertise first as frontend and dot markdown, and we want to paste in some of the expertise inside here, which would be this one. So basically, I've added a layout, which is a homepage, and inside of our includes, we have layout and we have homepage, and we don't need a comma there. And let's add furthermore expertise, and I'll grab this one and add new file and call it product design or just design, and just paste it right here. And I'll just rename these tags later on. And the one thing that we need to notice here is we have something called tags right here, as you may have noticed before, as we did front end here. These tags helps us to identify this particular markdown file later on, so that we can take a reference of this particular tag, which is called expertise, and refer that inside of our njk and loop down right here, right? So inside of our expertise, we added two. Let's add other expertise here. So I have added all of the expertise that I personally have as well. So added it inside of our expertise folder, which is branding, design, and front end. And as you may have noticed before, we have the tags, which we already talked about, which we will be taking a reference to inside of our expertise page and looping it down as per the tags. But the thing here is, as you may have noticed, we have a redundancy right here, which is layouts and tags are repeated in all the markdown files. To prevent that one, we can further create a JSON file and call it expertise.json. And inside here, we want to grab that particular redundant files that we have, redundant lines that we have inside our markdown, which is layout and tags, and just remove layout and tags from all of them. And I just want to remove layouts and tags also from here and also from here. So let's hit a save. Let's take a look at the browser, and inside of our expertise, we can see here my expertise, which is generally taking from this particular, this is my expertise, which is inside of our base.njk, and we have this because we are reusing base.njk for all of our layouts that we have, which is homepage and expertise. All right. So now after this, we can now go to our expertise page.njk and look down our markdown files that we have created inside of our expertise as per the tags that we have defined right here, which is expertise. So inside of our expertise page, I want to add a snippet for looping down, which I have pretty much already written, and it's right here. I'll just grab it and I'll just place it here. All right. So now if I hit save and take a look at the browser and hit a refresh, then I don't see any changes. Items.data.expertise collections. Okay, I got the point. We need to add some um, changes right here inside of base.njk because we want to grab in the post content that we have. So let's add a blog post content and post content right here, and let's hit save. And as you can see here, we do have our expertise added to the template here. We can go to our home and we can go to our expertise. Great. So okay, now basically these post content defines a post that we want to add. If there is a post content, please add a post content here. That's basically what it says. And let's now move ahead to our blocks, which we haven't created before. So okay, so to add our blogs, definitely we will create a folder as we have expertise here. We will create it for blogs, and we will add our layout as a blog page, and also create blog.markdown files. I've just right now added blogs as well. So as we did for expertise base, blogs.njk also loops down the same thing that we created before. And I have also created blog name 1, blog name 2, blog name 3.md file where we have our title, subheading, and a banner image, and an image and some description right here. But you can add anything right here. So you can also insert some HTML tags right here as well. So basically we do have our markdown for blogs inside of blogs as we have for expertise, and inside our blogs we took a reference for with layout slash blogs where we have blogs inside of layout, and inside here we just reference the tags that we created, which is blogs. If you can see here inside our blogs.json we have the tags blogs, and inside here we have the collection blogs, and we loop down all the blocks that we have right here, which is pretty much similar to what we have in expertise, right? So the only thing that's different right here is the read more, right? And it's goddamn dead simple to just work with the read more. As you can see here that it doesn't have any effect because we don't have anything inside of here. So the thing that Eleventy provides us is something called a URL. So we can write, we are looking down items, okay, and it's items dot URL. All right, and that's pretty much it. And if we save it, and if we take a refresh, and if we click on read more, and you can see here we have our blog name 1, which is the name of the blog, and we have our description right here, and you can also add any description that you need inside of our the blogs, and inside here you can have any code snippets or images or anything that you can just add inside of our markdown here. Here you can add anything. All right, and you can see here you can add anything. All right, looks like we are pretty much done with our blog detail, and it's just for demo purpose. You can also add anything that you can find relevant inside this detail page, and inside of our blogs we have pretty much all the blogs working. Now let's move on to contact. We haven't created our contact page. Now for creating our contact page we just need is a layout for now, and we won't be really diving into any markdown files for our contact. For that one, we'll just create our contact inside of our layout. Just add a block content where we have content saved, and that basically is wrapping something from the base, and we want to also create contact.md file, and inside of our contact.md file I just want to grab in the form that we uh, created and just hit a save. So what we have done here, well, if you have watched my previous video about Netlify form, how easy is it is to embed the Netlify form inside of our websites. And you may have noticed this before. We have the name attribute and for all of it, right? Because we need the name attribute to work, Netlify forms to work. So a data Netlify true, and then method is post, and all the name attributes has been added. And let's hit on save. Now obviously we have this is from layouts contact page.njk, and which is this one, and this thing right here is this thing right here. Yeah, so if we go ahead and refresh it, and we can see the contact us form, and we can go to blogs, we can see read more, we can see the description, we can click on expertise and see the expertise, we can go to my site, uh, see some of my works here. Obviously you can also have an individual pages for my works here as well, as we did for our blogs right here, which is this one. So yeah, basically you can just add on to future further functionality and features to this one, and you can obviously add some paginations to our blogs, but we won't be covering that inside of this video. So yeah, let's go ahead and deploy this particular site inside of Netlify as we did in the previous video, and check that everything is working. And I have just deployed our site inside of Netlify, and this is our local, and this is our live site inside of Netlify, and which is pretty much same, and everything is working fine. We have our expertise page, we have our blogs page, and we can go to our details of our blogs, and we can go back, we can see the blog listing, we can have contact form which is hooked into Netlify. So let's call it John Doe, and hi from John, send a message, and a success message which is great, and we can see our site has been successfully deployed to Netlify. And also, by the way, please do consider the build command before you deploy it to Netlify in the package.json file. So with that in mind, I think it's pretty much done. So guys, in this video we used Eleventy and created a simple website along with the Netlify forms to create and deploy our blog website in Netlify. So thank you so much for watching my videos. If you guys want to learn more about design and development, please like, share and subscribe with the clip down below. I'll be trying to make more better videos. See you in the next one.